Before we even start, this is not another just post Reels video. We know Reels are helpful for generating more reach and in some cases gaining you more followers, but we're not gonna talk about that in this video. We're gonna talk about an essential component to real, organic, and authentic community growth on Instagram that has nothing to do with whether you're posting photos or videos. It's deeper than that, and it's way more important when it comes to growing an audience that will be loyal to you and care about what you're posting, no matter what type of format it's in. Oh, that lavender moment was cute, but y'all, it's way too hot for that, so the tank top's gonna have to be style statement enough. The biggest secret to real sustainable Instagram growth is truly having confidence. I know that sounds super simple, don't click away yet. I promise I've got some actionable tips to share with you, but just hear me out. The first obstacle that almost all creators face along their growth journey is getting over being confident enough to start posting like an influencer in the first place. I know so many of us started with an Instagram account that like all of our friends from high school are following us and our aunts and mom and cousins and whatever, and you feel kind of weird showing up on your Instagram stories being like, good morning everyone, I hope you're having a good day. Today I'm doing da-da-da. It feels weird because you wouldn't do that if it was just your family following you. So I get it. It feels awkward, like you really feel like you're being something that you're not in front of like your friends and family. I get it. That's so hard. And I wish there was an easier way to go about it, but you basically have two options. One, start a brand new account where nobody who knows you is already following you, though that has its downsides too. Or two, just stop caring and start posting. Now, if you create a new account, there are some advantages to this, right? Like you feel a little bit more liberated to just post like an influencer because nobody that you know in person is watching. But the downside is you're starting totally from scratch. And the reality is there's probably some people in your real life who would support you, who would care about what you're doing, engage with your content, and kind of give you that first initial boost of encouragement, but also engagement that'll kind of help make your journey go a little bit faster. I suppose if you truly feel like every single person in your life is really just gonna judge you and not actually engage with any of your content, it might be worthwhile starting a brand new account, but I think that's probably a pessimistic viewpoint. Most likely, there are some folks that would want to give your content a like and a share. But here's the real truth. No matter whether you start a new account or if you post on your existing one, people in your real life will come across it at some point, especially if it actually grows to the point where you really want it to. And then at that point, you are gonna have to face the fact that, you know, your mom and your cousins see you posting like an influencer and it might not really make sense to them. They might not get it, but you're just gonna have to plow ahead anyway. And try not to think about it too much, especially if you on occasion like me like to post photos in your underwear. So truly this is a mindset thing. You just need to dance like nobody is watching. Post like your friends and family in real life don't notice. Which to be fair, like they might not. Actually, they might not see all of your posts, so just go for it. Even once you start posting though, the next major obstacle that almost all creators face is imposter syndrome. This is a really tough one. It's just another mindset obstacle that you need to figure out how to work through. My suggestion is to start by reminding yourself that you do have something valuable to share. Everyone has unique life experiences and expertise that other people out there will find valuable. That being said, I also think that it's helpful to approach imposter syndrome with some radical honesty with yourself and some realism. Now, I will say most people with imposter syndrome are gonna bend towards pessimism, which is why the kind of more optimistic side can help balance that out. But if you're like me, you probably at times have felt kind of skeptical of this whole like rah, you can do it, you have something to share attitude that we hear online a lot, which I know I just shared with you. But if you feel like, okay, Katie, I truly cannot trick myself into thinking that I'm an expert in this, like I'm too realistic for that. I understand that, you know, I can't share about X or Y on my Instagram. If you're feeling like that, you're probably right. That's okay. That's why it's important to be realistic instead of just kind of embracing this toxic positivity that, if you're like me, will never actually convince you. So instead, like really, truly try to be objective about what you have to share and what people out there might find valuable. And probably more often than not, what you will find is that, yeah, you know, your experience, your knowledge, your expertise may not be all encompassing. None of us are like 100% experts, right? There's always going to be somebody who knows more. But on the other side of that argument, there's always going to be somebody that knows less. So even if you are not the ultimate expert in your space, no matter what you're sharing about, whether it's like fitness, health, beauty, social media, marketing, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be the best. You just need to be a little bit further along on your journey than one other person or a few other people. There's always going to be some folks that are a couple steps behind you, and you can share your knowledge and expertise with them. So when you're dealing with imposter syndrome, really just try to think about even yourself a couple of years ago and what you could share that would have helped her. For me anyway, that is the best argument to help downplay my own imposter syndrome, which you're always going to feel. It's never going to 100% go away. But I think being realistic and reminding yourself of the people a few steps behind you on the journey is a good way to get over it. The final obstacle that creators, I think, no matter how long they've been doing it for, face is ultimately the skills gap. The skills gap is this concept, like especially talked about in like the artist community, where essentially there's a gap between your taste level and your skill level. Basically, you can see that your content isn't as good as it could be. Like you look at your own photos or your own videos or your own graphics and you're like, yeah, there's something about that that's just not right. Be encouraged by that. If you notice that in your own work, that is such a good sign. I cannot even tell you how valuable that is, because there are so many people out there that put together mediocre stuff and look at it and say, great, perfect, couldn't be improved. And that's not gonna help with growth, right? If you feel 100% satisfied with the quality that you're delivering in your work, you're not gonna continue to improve. So if you can see that skills gap in yourself, that you know you could write better, take better photographs, edit better videos, that's good. That means that you're still growing and you can continue to lessen that gap. Because of perfectionism and imposter syndrome and all these various factors, for most of us, we'll never level that out. Like we'll never be able to create the exact vision that we have in our head. But that's okay. I think life would be pretty boring if you just felt 100% satisfied with all the work you produce. Like you want to continue to change and evolve and improve. But just know, if you feel that differential between your taste level and your skill level, it's very normal. Every creator is gonna have that, and it just means that you're growing. Okay, so we've discussed some of the major obstacles that creators face to feeling fully confident at various stages along the journey. So let's talk about some tangible tips that I have for you on how you can actually increase your confidence. Number one, and please don't feel bad about this, this is meant to be encouraging, but truly, no one cares that much about you. So many of us get so caught up in how we feel others might perceive us or what others might think of us. And I think the most liberating thing to acknowledge is like, nobody is analyzing your stuff as much as you are. Going back to that feeling of being scared to post like an influencer because your friends and family are watching, like truly, they may not even notice. Or if they do, it'll be like the most like tangential thought in their mind. They have their own concerns, their own life. All of us humans are inherently self-centered, and we're thinking about our own stuff way more than whether or not our second cousin once removed is becoming an influencer. Like it's not that big of a deal to other people, even though I know it feels like a big deal to us, right? So just remember that, and instead of that discouraging you and feeling, oh, nobody cares about me, your followers are gonna care about you, your audience is gonna care about you, but those people that we often think of and worry if they're judging us or not, they're not judging you, they're not even thinking about you. So let that liberate you. The second thing that you need to acknowledge, which hopefully this will also give you more confidence, is that everyone is faking it and nobody has their shit together. I think that so often with especially the world of being like an Instagram influencer or an online creator, you can see somebody with really high numbers and it just makes you think like they must really know what they're doing. Like they really must feel confident in themselves, like they've made it. But the truth is nobody ever really feels like they made it. I know for years I dreamed of having 100K subscribers on YouTube, and I thought once I finally hit that metric, I would feel fully confident. But honestly, it's since I hit that I felt some of the deepest levels of insecurity and self-doubt like in my whole journey. I'm better now. It's okay. It's getting better. But that's just to say like numbers don't mean anything. And so just know that the same level of confidence that is accessible to somebody with 1 million followers is also accessible to you if you just claim it for yourself. Like it doesn't matter what your numbers are. And everybody to some extent feels like they don't know what they're doing. I hope I don't look as sweaty as I feel right now. Like it's so humid. Okay, moving on. The third tip or truth, which we must acknowledge in order to gain confidence, that I want to share with you, is when you start seeing other people in a positive light, you'll start to see yourself in more of a positive light as well. Basically, if you give other people the benefit of the doubt, you'll start to have that grace for yourself too. I think the thing is, for a lot of us who worry about being judged on our creator journey, we have that because somewhere buried deep in the back of our mind is some amount of judgment for other creators. You worry that somebody is gonna see what you're doing as cringy because you see other creators and in your mind you're like, oh, that's cringy, she doesn't have that many followers, right? That's why that exists. It's because we sort of kind of think that about other people just a little bit, maybe even subconsciously. And so we're gonna kind of think that about ourselves too. Now, obviously just saying like, stop judging other people. It's not that simple. It's not just a switch that you can turn off. But I think that you can slowly start to train your brain to be more positive and affirming of other people. And I think as you do that, you kind of build up these patterns in your mind that you can then apply to your own self-talk. So every time you see somebody else start up a new Instagram page or go out on a limb with a creative new type of post or talk to the camera on stories when they haven't done it before, whatever it might be, make a conscious effort to say like, good for her. That looks great. I'm really glad she's doing that. That looks like it means a lot to her and I'm so glad she's putting it out there. Build up these like affirming speech patterns where you're talking about other creators in a positive light, and then when your brain, at some point automatically switches to that self-talk, hopefully those kind of positive statements will be plugged in there because that's how you talk about other creators. So that's how you should think about yourself. This isn't something that I ever thought about like consciously where I like made myself more confident by doing this, but kind of in retrospect, I really see that as a part of my journey because I think there have been times in the past where I've been more skeptical and a little bit quicker to judge other people or celebrities or whatever it might be. And I think over the past few years, I've kind of opened up to being more enthusiastic and supportive of other people. And I think that that enthusiasm and support for others has also been reflected in my own confidence. So think about that. If you're struggling with really harshly judging yourself, it might be because even just a little bit subconsciously in the back of your mind, you kind of have those thoughts for other people. So try to rewire your brain, teach it to be more positive about others, and that'll help you be more positive about yourself. And now circling back to the whole reason that we're talking about confidence in the first place when it comes to Instagram growth is when you are confident, you will grow. I really believe that confidence shows through how you present yourself in your stories, in your reels, through your captions. When you feel really excited about what you're doing and you believe in what you're doing, people can tell. So not only does being confident really show through the way you present yourself and attract more people to follow you because it's just fun to follow someone who believes in themselves and is sure of themselves and is sharing things in a confident way, but it's also going to make you more enthusiastic about what you're posting and therefore more consistent. I think when you feel self-doubt, when you feel uncertain about what you're doing, that doesn't really motivate you to go out and create more content. And the thing is, in addition to confidence, one of the most important things when it comes to growing on Instagram is posting a lot of stuff. Like you got to put stuff out there if you want people to follow you. So if you feel like you're struggling with a lack of consistency, and some of it might be tied back to feeling uncertain, feeling self-doubt, then really working towards being a more confident creator is also going to make you a more consistent creator. And the thing is, if you've struggled with consistency in the past, I think that can also lead to a lack of confidence. The biggest factor in consistency, though, honestly even more important than being confident, is just simply having an Instagram strategy that is truly sustainable for you. Something that works with your lifestyle as well as with the algorithm. And I actually created a totally free guide to help guide you through building out a sustainable Instagram strategy that works specifically for you and your audience. It's called the Sustainable Instagram Strategy Planner, and it's a totally interactive Notion template that you can grab at the link in the description. Basically, you can just duplicate this template over to your own Notion and work through the questions and some of the interactive exercises that I've built that help you think through what you actually like to make, what performs well with your audience, and what you truly have time for. These are the three big factors that really go into building out a sustainable strategy for yourself, and I'm gonna walk you all through it. So you can grab that planner. Like I said, it's free at the link in the description. And I think through building out this sustainable Instagram strategy for yourself and really working through building up your confidence, these two things put together are going to make you unstoppable as a creator on Instagram. So make sure you check out my sustainable Instagram strategy planner at the link in the description. And of course, if you want to learn about more growth tactics that might not be working as well as you think they do, then check out this video that I made all about it As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.